So today I'm going to show you how to solve a quadratic that is in standard form. So standard form, what does that mean? Well, the first thing is that it is in the form of ax² plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay? Now if you had some other number over here, you could subtract it from both sides and combine it with c. But we're going to say that this thing is already set to 0 and try and solve. So for instance, we'll have the equation x² plus 4x plus 4 equals 0. Now, what does that look like? What does that possibly look like? So we could check and see here. If I come in here and I check for a way to show it to you using a graphing calculator, and I stick it in here. Let's see if I can shrink this down so you can see it in that window that I'm recording in. Let's just bring this in here, stick it right down in there so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we have x² plus 4x plus 4. And if we graph that, there it is. You can see it's a parabola. And it has one little point here on the x-axis where it hits at -2, and otherwise it's up above the x-axis. Therefore the y value is always positive, except right there where the y value reaches 0. So if you look again back at this equation, it's saying that, imagine for a second this was equal to y. And you can see that y is 0. Well, when is y 0? Well, y is 0 when you come down the y-axis and you get to 0. And you see where the x value is to find that point. And the x value is at -2. So we know now that the solution is x is -2. Okay? And just to check it, we can do -2 squared plus 4 times -2 plus 4, and check to see, is that equal to 0? And sure enough, this is 4. This is -8 plus 4, and that is equal to 0. Okay? So we know our solution is true. Alright? Now, let's just see what we can do to solve this. We know that x² plus 4x plus 4 equals 0. And the beautiful thing is we're going to use the zero product property that says if you have a number times another number equals 0, then either this is 0 or this is. Okay? So if we can write this as a product, then we can set each product to 0 and solve individually. So what I do is I know that if I have two binomials and I multiply them together, I can use FOIL. So x times x, the first term in each parentheses, multiply to give you x². So it has to be x times x is x². Doesn't have to be. Actually, it could be x² and 1, but that won't give us anything else that we want. So x and x give us x². Now, the last multiplied together give us the last term. 2 times 2 is 4. And then if I put in some parentheses, some plus signs here, and FOIL this out, I would get first times first is x² plus outside, which is 2x, plus inside, which is 2x, and 2x and 2x is 4x, which is there, plus last, 2 times 2 is 4, is that. So this line here represents the same as this. They're equal, only this one is now a product of factors. So using our zero product property, our ZPP, if you live in England, you probably say ZPP. So if you have ZPP, like Led Zeppelin, no, Z, not lead. We set each of these to 0. That's like saying A is 0. So the first term here is our A, and this is our B. So A is 0, now A and B are the same, so I only have to do this one time. -2 minus 2 gives me x is equal to -2, which, lo and behold, we already knew that. And that is the method for solving a quadratic from standard form by factoring it. Okay? In the next video, we'll see a problem in which you cannot factor, and yet we can still solve it. Stay tuned.